solid plan. Spins a yarn, recants a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common Man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh boy! Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello? Objects in your mirror may be closer than they appear.
I think we have a very good mix right now. I mean, the morning show does well, comparatively speaking, especially given what it has to go against. Dubers and I have done well, knock on wood, for 4 years. Common and Hartman have done okay, and Barrero is, in my estimation, the primetime player on our station. And cultivating a couple of kids in Sludge and Lake, and, you know, we have the Vikings and maybe some things down the road. So I think we're strong right now.
The brutal B-R-U-T-A-L.
Diseased. We're happy for you. Yeah, but
I want to win, and I want to win now.
Sorry, KFAN.
How about the cardiac cats?
I've seen enough out of Cousins, Paul. Put him on ice.
I'm going to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
Nuts and bolts, we got screwed.
Keep playing until someone puts the puck in the net. Lamb on the right side. In the corner, Oleksic. Schmidt now for Oleksic in behind. He centers. Yes! Kyle Schmidt has won the championship! UND has won the championship! Kyle Schmidt with the game winner! Yeah, baby!
Okay, calm down. KFAN was picking on me.
Yeah, baby.
He's the clown from Brown.
Roger
He's
that.
the fourth in the north.
No, not even close.
This is the common man, Dan Cole.
And I am the common man, Dan Cole, and if I'm not supposed to be him, why do I look like me? Ack, dak, and dak, act, you and yours. I'm common, he's tend to be, and boy, what a weekend. Quintessential March Madness on the last game of Sweet 16 Elite 8 weekend. Twins can't win for losing. The Wild and the Wolves continue to track the playoffs. We'll see where they go from here. Minnesota Golden Gopher women's team gave UCLA everything they wanted for one half, and then that coach. Yes, the coach turned into a pumpkin. Not the coach of the team, just the coach they rode in on turned into a pumpkin. And Gary Woodland with a very emotional victory at the Texas Children's Tournament. With all those topics to get to, I'm not sure where to begin. Let's spin the wheel of topics.
Wheel of Topics!
Oh, and a couple of Viking legends have gone to be honest.
Commons golf game.
What did you shoot today?
81.
Where'd we play?
Loggers Trail.
Where'd you hit it on? One?
I hit it as good as I can hit a drive. Just gutted it.
How far from the green were you?
I had 121 to the pin.
Second shot?
Pin high to 5 feet.
Then what?
Well, I've been struggling with the putter, so I so badly wanted to make sure I kept it on line, I forgot to hit it. So I left it like 4 inches short.
Well, there's that.
But it would have been dead center cut. I had 2 doubles today, and the double on 2 was one of those where I I think I can hit the ball further than I used to because I thought I had the perfect club for the distance. It hit the green and bounced into that really long, tall grass behind it, long, tall Sally. I found it, and all I could do was hack it. You never know how hard to hack at it, right?
Sure.
And so I went.
You want to get it out?
Yeah, so I went pretty hard at it, and it shot all the way across the green and made a double. Then I actually, at that point, started to play some. The driver killed me on 10. I made double on 10, too. The first, I've been driving the ball beautifully. And you remember I told you I got that sweeping ball of death going where I'm hooking the ball. And sure enough, on 10, the one you really can't hook it on because there's that pond all along the left side, I hit it in the water there. And then I popped up a hybrid that almost went out of play after taking my drop. So getting a 7, I'm putting for bogey from 30 feet was almost a victory. But so the two doubles, and again, it's the old 4 over and 2 holes, and then played the other. That would have left me with 70. Played the other 16 and 5 over. So trending in the right direction, tend to be trending in the right direction. But we laughed, we cried, best of times, worst of times. So Mother Nature and Old Man Winter can't seem to agree upon when they want to stop that. I mean, today's going to be like 70 something, and then. Did I hear we might get another 10 inches of snow on Saturday?
There's snow in the forecast.
One of these days, Tammy.
You've got to be
one
kidding
of these
me.
Days, I will no longer have to deal with it, but that will come at another time. Here's what's annoying. So now they're doing a renovation here, right? I think we made that perfectly clear. And we don't have a cafeteria or a break room anymore. We had 2 refrigerators, 2 microwaves. They had a pizza maker in there for
toaster,
everything, right? Just waffle maker. Well, now that's all been condensed to 1 refrigerator, 1 microwave, and a couple of coffee makers over in the sales stable, right? So I get there to make a cup of coffee, and I look over at the microwave area, and the glass dish that rotates around in there? It's sitting out.
Huh?
And I go, and it looks like there's been an explosion inside the microwave. And whoever didn't clean it out.
They just put the rotating thing out?
They just took the rotating thing out. I opened up the microwave. It looks like baked beans or some kind of minestrone soup just exploded in there. And they decided, well, I'm not going to clean it out. How the hell does anybody not clean out their mistake? Do you agree with that?
Well, how do you not know that soup might explode into the microwave if you don't put something on top of it?
Or whatever it is. I don't know whatever it is. But how do you not clean
up your mess
in a community microwave?
Yeah.
I wish now that person thinks they're clever. Tennessee, there was a time where you did a little detective work here with the camera work.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I just wouldn't know how to do it. Going through that camera, because it happened because I had lunch Friday. And, the microwave is it's not, there have been other sprays in there, but it wasn't awful, right? But now it's terrible. So on Friday, it was still fine because I microwaved my lunch. So sometime between Friday afternoon and this morning, somebody put something in there explode. Now, my guess is it's a weekender.
They're usually the laziest. Yeah.
Now, it could have been this morning. Or it could have been late afternoon, but there's not many people here.
I mean, the last time we went to the security cameras, it was a weekend.
That's exactly what it was.
Maybe it's the same person.
Yeah. Well, see, it could very well be. So, I mean...
And my guess it's going to be around a meal time, right? It's unlikely to be at 3:30 in the afternoon.
There you go. Oh, I'd like
the problem with the weekend is by the time you get to Sunday, you have people that come around and clean up all the garbage, right? Because that's what my first thing would be. I'd look at everyone's garbage and see if there's a bowl that has leftover soup residue or a can of some sort.
Right. If this interim producer gig doesn't work out for you, it's not. You might want to be a private detective because you were really good back in the day when you broke down the camera. It was you and
I got to give some credit.
Guy, right?
It was Eric Ait.
Yeah. Eric Ait. You guys broke down the camera and found out who pilfered.
Oh, and back then the camera would only turn on when it saw motion.
Right.
So it's not like we're looking through every second to every minute of the day whenever there's motion. And the first time we went through all of them, we didn't see it.
Yeah.
But we double-checked our work.
And then you found out who it was. It's as good as it gets. And we've never publicly revealed who that was.
I thought you did one time.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought you did like within the last 2 years. But in case you didn't.
Yeah. But if I did or did, it doesn't really matter at this point. But
I mean, he can afford his own golf balls.
Well, that's it. I left a dozen Pro V1s in here on Saturday. No, it was on Friday. And whatever. I forgot them in here. Forgot to take them. Then when I came back, they were gone, and somebody had taken them and said, well, I thought it was the free table. No, the free table's not in the studio. The free table's out in the cafeteria. So anyway, but we found out who it was. After a denial.
After I'd already asked that person.
Yeah, and there was a denial there.
Because we started off by asking everyone who it potentially could have been.
And now someone has exploded something in the microwave and decided, I'm not going to.
And don't clean up after themselves.
I'll leave it for somebody else to clean up.
Very selfish. And it's not like that's something that's like put on the floor that's going to get vacuumed up by a worker anyway.
Right.
Like no worker is going into your microwave.
No.
So we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah. And it's like, so now I want to microwave my lunch, but I don't feel like cleaning that.
It reminds me of college when I lived in a house with 4 other guys. So there's 5 of us.
Yeah.
And I was the only one of the 5 that when I got done with my dishes, I'd put them in the dishwasher.
Right.
Or if I used, let's face it, I was making like macaroni and cheese or rice-a-roni back in the day, right? You make a rice-a-roni, I'm using the pot. I would clean the pot when I'm done.
Absolutely.
But other people wouldn't. So anytime I wanted to have rice-a-roni, I had to clean the pot, then I'd have rice-a-roni, and then I had to clean the pot again for other people. That's not fair.
And then when I was living with the guys, when I wanted to clean the pot, like take the seeds out of it, I had to do that myself as well, but that's a whole other story in itself. Rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, again, is it the end of the world? No, there are much more grave circumstances going on in the world. You name it. It's not. There's a lot of yes, but the idea that you lose a little faith in
yes, maybe
not so much in humanity, but certainly in your coworkers, because I can't believe they did that. And now I don't know what to do, because speaking of chili, I have chili to heat up, and I have broccoli to heat up.
Oh, you have soup, huh? You have a form of soup.
Well,
chili.
I guess it could be me.
Huh.
So I have to.
You're currently a suspect.
I have to heat that up. And now I've seen another microwave over in
By us,
and I might go over there.
Go use that one.
I have to use that one. That one looks like knockoff model. It's not as powerful.
$15.
Yeah, it looks like it. I don't know if it'll handle what I want to do, but I'll give it
please cover your chili when you put it in there.
I do. I always do. Absolutely. We'll take a break. We'll come back. When we do, it'll be time for Peek at the Purple with the Common Man and 10 to be right here on the Common Man, brought by the Fan.
Wolves.
The tournament is underway. Don't miss a second of the action. Tune in to 100.3 KFAN and on the free iHeartRadio app for hoops coverage again this Saturday, driven by Dave Smith Motors.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's 10 to be. Legendary one, Mark Rosen, tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Peek at the Purple brought to you by Affordable Electric. Spring is here, sort of, kind of. Weather wouldn't lead. You think about it today, it does, but then later in the week it won't. But spring is here. Perfect time to plan those backyard upgrades, outdoor lighting, patio outlets. If you're thinking about a hot tub, they can do the wiring for that, garage circuits. How about an EV charger if you're thinking about going EV? Affordable Electric.
It ain't easy being EV.
It ain't easy being EV, but everybody should be EV. I'm EV. We got one EV. I'm starting to drive the EV now. My wife was driving the EV, but it didn't make any sense. She drives 5 miles to work and 5 miles back at the most. I'm driving 27 each way. And so she's driving the EV, and I'm driving the gas guzzling Impala. And so we finally...
With the gas prices.
Well, that's the other thing, the gas prices. We just said, you know what, it makes more sense. But, I got... The EV's newer, it's a lease, and so I didn't want my wife to think I just want to get the new car, because I really don't. And you know what I did? This kind of guy I am. My car, that's now her car, I cleaned it. It looks like the day it came off the showroom floor inside. You could eat off the floor, and you could because there were some French fries down there, a couple of old M&Ms. and I cleaned it inside and out. It's just spotless. So she's driving that. But if you're thinking of EV, schedule your project today. Affordable-electric.com or 612-331-VOLT. 612-331-VOLT or affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric is, ready for it, shockingly affordable. Two legendary Vikings passed away on the same day on Saturday. Jeff Seaman, who was he was a linebacker for the Vikings back in the 70s. And then Joey Browner played, I think he was all 80s, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he played in the 90s at all.
I feel like he went into the very early part of the 90s.
Early 90s. And I'll be honest, I never had a chance. I don't recall ever meeting either one of them. I may have at one time or another at some kind of a function, maybe, the Vikings charity golf event, if one of them were there. I don't remember, Teneby, I don't think we interviewed any of them at those
I was trying
events.
to think if we interviewed Joey Browner before.
Well, that's what Abbott thought we may have, and I just don't recall. It's certainly possible. I have such a terrible memory.
Yeah. So Browner played here through 91, and then he played one season for Tampa Bay in 92.
Okay. And I, again, because of my my faded memory, I knew both were really, accomplished players, but I didn't realize how good they both were for the Vikings. I mean, Pro Bowlers. And I think, did it say Seaman is still like third all-time on tackles for the Vikings?
I'd never heard of him.
Oh, yeah, he was really, really good. He came in at the tail end. He wasn't part of that purple people eaters of the late 60s, when we went to 4 big games. He followed that. The purple people eaters, they were kind of starting to fade a little bit at that time. He came in then, I think, early 70s and played with the club after that. But they were both two really, really terrific players. And was it Seaman was 75 and Joey 65, right around in there? And so, so gone but not forgotten. But Rosen might have some memories because working in the television business, he may have even had. I don't remember how long Rosen was doing Rosen Sports Sunday. When it first started. But my guess is he probably had them both on TV at one point.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. But there you go. Anything else Viking related? It's really it's quiet. It's almost too quiet.
KOC talked to the media today.
Oh, he did.
But it wasn't like we don't have audio or anything. It was just reporters getting quotes. I could find some of those. I know Grenard was a main topic today. Yeah.
Well, and I ran into Alec Lewis, who covers the Vikings for The Athletic, and I asked him on Friday. I think it was Friday he was in. And I asked him, I said, what's it? And he said he just doesn't know. He goes, the thing with Grenard is the Vikings, I think, don't want to pay him what he wants, but then there's nobody else out there that wants to pay Grenard what he wants. He's a really good player, but I think like everybody feels they're worth more than maybe they are. And I guess you're only worth what the market's willing to bear. And apparently from what I've been able to gather from Lewis and others is that the money he wants, no one's willing to pay. So, he'll play somewhere. It's like he's not going to pull a Sprewell.
Yeah.
And say, well, I'm not playing. But whether it ends up being with the Vikings or not remains to be seen. You got some quotes.
So here are some tweets from Seifert. He writes, Kevin O'Connell and if he expects Jonathan Grenard on the roster this season. Quote, yeah, I expect him to be part of our team. I know there's always conversations. There's conversations this week. There's conversations throughout the offseason. And we'll continue to kind of attack things at the different phases. We're getting ready to really jump heavily into draft meetings when we get back. But at the same time, we're always going to try to do what's best for our team. And also what we think is best for each one of our individual players. And that's an ongoing thing throughout the offseason. Basically, he didn't give you anything in that quote.
Right.
KOC said that J.J. McCarthy is back in Minnesota after spending the early part of the offseason training in California and has been in the building most days, working out in the weight room. And then Kevin O'Connell on Harrison Smith, quote, he knows how I feel about him, how we feel about him, but we also want to be respectful and give him space to kind of continue to figure out what he wants to do.
Okay.
Those are basically the tweets about that Seifert relayed.
So again,
KFC was on with PH today as well.
Oh, he was? Okay. So again, as you
say,
say,
you can podcast that right now.
Right now, go ahead and do it, and then you can podcast Sunday sermons if you want to. And I'm sure the Power Trip Morning
and
Show
Beyond the Pond
and Beyond the Pond, the Power Trip Morning Show is probably really funny today. That'd be my guess because they're always so hilarious. So you can do that at any time you want. So, yeah, it's just kind of the twiddling of our thumbs until we find out what happens with, until we get to it. I guess the draft is the next, right? That's the next big.
Yeah, about a month away.
About a month away. So we'll do that, and we'll see what Vikings got. They got a lot of picks. 9, right? Is it 9 with because then they get the, what do they call that?
Compensatory
that they got for.
They have 9 for now.
Yeah, so they have 9 for now, and that could go up, could go down. Like
I wonder without Kwesi because Kwesi like to move those draft picks around a bit.
I don't know. I mean,
I wonder how that'll change.
I know that Brzezinski, Rob, capologist guy, is the acting GM. May even get the job too if he's interested. I don't know if I've even read if he's interested in that job. But the Vikings ownership has said, storied franchise, National Football League. We are going to, we're going to have Rob oversee things until after the draft, and then we'll make a decision on who's going to be the guy. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know what the salary difference is between general manager and whatever capologist title is. I will say, as capologist, his job seems pretty secure.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
He's gone through multiple coaching staffs, multiple regimes.
That's for sure.
Stayed in the same spot. Whereas GM, let's face it, you get. Well, Kwesi didn't even get this, but you get 5, 6, 7 years somewhere, and if you're not winning, you're gone. You got to move somewhere else.
Hot seat, we call it. That's a hot seat. There's no question. Yeah, so maybe the capologist has.
It might be an offer he can't refuse.
Yeah,
but
it does seem like capologist, as long as you're doing your capologist job well, it's got better job security. But I guess that where I was headed with this was, I got to think KOC is going to have the most say of anybody, right? And my guess is, I don't know this. I guess if Rob's the acting GM, he has, he would be the tie-breaking vote, right? But my gut just tells me they're going to lean toward whatever O'Connell wants. That's what my guess is. And we've talked about this too, Tenneby. My sources, whether they're accurate or not, told me that part of KOC agreeing to that extension before last season started was, I want more say in personnel decisions, and I think that was granted to him. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I've heard, and that wouldn't surprise me either. And so whether we increase our draft picks, trade some, whatever the case may be, we'll find out sometime soon. Peek at the Purple, brought to you by affordable-electric.com. Remember, they are shockingly affordable.
Never miss your chance to know what the latest sports news is in town. Chances to win tickets and knowing what is going on with all of our favorite KFAN shows. Follow KFAN 1003 on all of our social channels like Instagram, TikTok, and X now. Stay connected and follow the sports leader, KFAN.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Comet. He is Tenneby. March Madness. We're down to the Final Four. I talked about this last week. I think it was Thursday when Nebraska ball got bounced by Iowa. I kind of tuned in, turned on, and dropped out of the NCAA tournament. Though there were still some terrific games played, and I will tell you, I shouldn't admit this with a beautiful day outside, but I was actually back and forth in and out. Did I already mention that? I totally cleaned the car, inside and out, the whole thing. Anyway, so between then I was watching Twins, and then I tuned in to UConn versus Duke in the final game of the weekend. And Deuce was home. He'd gotten back from Lincoln. We're sitting on the couch, the game's on, and it's early in the second half, and UConn's down 20, 25, whatever it was. And after watching for a couple minutes, and they couldn't really chip away at it, I looked at Deuce and I said, maybe we should turn it and watch something else. How about an episode of G-Guns? Why don't we watch some regular show? Let's watch Leave It to Beaver. And he suggested that we stick with it a little while longer, and I'm glad he did, because it ended up, your one shining moment bit, that was it.
Yeah.
Who was the kid that got the bucket? I forget his name now. UConn just kept chipping away. They finally got it down. Duke's got the ball. Boozer makes a shot. They go back up by, must have been 3 or 4. UConn makes one free throw. They can't hit them both. So they're still down 2. And
play the call for you if you want.
Play it. Yeah, the Duke kid tries to throw a pass. It's deflected, and then and here's how
it sounded yesterday on the Fan.
Oh, okay.
72-70, Duke by 2. Sarr to key the inbound now. Full court pressure from UConn. Sarr gets it into Cam Boozer. Boozer back to Sarr. Now ahead to Caden Boozer, and UConn got a steal. Caravan for Mullins. Long 3. He got it! Oh, he got it! He hit it! He hit the long three-pointer
35
from the
feet.
logo with 0.3 of a second left to go. I don't believe it. UConn has taken the lead with 0.3 of a second left to go in a mad scramble off a steal. Braylon Mullins nails the three-pointer. And the UConn Huskies are 0.3 of a second away from a trip back to the Final Four. Unbelievable.
Braylon Mullins makes the shot. Freshman from Indianapolis, apparently, getting to go home to Indianapolis. But that's why when you have those kind of finishes to games and you have that kind of a comeback, because that game looked like it was over for all intents and purposes. I was ready to give up on that game. It was just. You watch so much basketball during March Madness, after a while you just go, I've seen enough, and this game's over, and yet they were able to come back. I had mixed emotions about it, too, because I guess there are certain teams, pro, college, whatever, that you just don't like, right? For whatever reason. Duke, I think, is one of them for a lot of people. And is it because of how much success they had under Krzyzewski? Is it because they're the Duke Blue Bloods? It seems like, is Duke Ivy League? If they're not, they seem like
ACC.
They seem like they're Ivy League to me. Yeah, they're ACC, but they seem like they're Ivy League. They seem like they're beautiful people, right? And but the coach for UConn, Hurley, he just seems like he's kind of a Richard to me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and so because
I was torn.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Because I don't like Duke, but
right.
I typically like UConn.
Yeah.
But I don't like the head coach.
Yeah, and it goes back to last year when he wanted to blame the officials, and he got caught on that camera we talked about. We talked about this last week where when he was in the tunnel leaving the game, and I think it might have been Oregon. Or was it Baylor? I think it might have been Baylor. It was coming out for the next game.
That was Baylor.
Yeah, he said to him, he goes, well, something about, I hope the referees don't screw you guys like they did us. And it's like, come on, dude. It's, and they, all these coaches rant and rave and scream and holler and get in kids' faces, which I just don't understand how. It's the only sport where I see that. I don't see it happen in hockey. I don't see it happen in baseball. I don't see it happen in football.
Football sometimes on the sidelines,
Occasionally you'll see it, but for the most part, but in basketball, it almost seems like basketball coaches don't enjoy their jobs. It always seems like it's torture for them and anger and bitterness. And, the younger the player, the more annoyed I am at the coach. The kids are trying. You see it at all levels, too. I mean, when you get to the NBA and guys are making boneheaded mistakes, I can see why a coach can get bent out of shape. And maybe even college, I guess. But when you start talking high school sports and travel basketball and AAU and in-house, and it's just in grade school, and these coaches just, they can't control their emotions. And they expect these kids to play perfect, make. A lot of these decisions out of the basketball court are split-second decisions, and sometimes, the offense you got. Each coach has got his special offense that he runs. But sometimes the other team's got your offense figured out, and you might want to make some switches, but you don't. And so,
sometimes it doesn't matter because it's the personnel.
Yeah,
on the court.
well, that's the other thing too. That's the other problem. So now we have, it's Illinois against UConn, right? in one game, and then it's Arizona against
Michigan.
How about Michigan? Did they win by 30 or 40 points? I mean, I don't know what the record is. I didn't see anything, and maybe I just missed it. Maybe because I would think it has to be, if it's not the biggest margin of victory in a leading up to get into the Final Four, it's got to be close. Didn't they win by 30 or 40 points? I mean, they just destroyed Tennessee, absolutely destroyed them. And what was interesting is when they won their Sweet 16 game to get to the grade 8, Michigan, they were interviewing the kids after the game, and one of them said something about, we think we might be the best Michigan team ever. So then they go back to the panel after that to Chuck, Kenny the Jet, Burleson, and then Clark Kellogg, right? And Kenny the Jet wasn't having any part of that. He was like, "No, wait a minute." He goes, "We're talking about Chris Webber,
Jalen Rose,
and then who was the? Well, there was the Fab Five. There was five, but there was
one named King.
Yeah, but
Juwan Howard.
Juwan Howard. 3 really, really terrific NBA players.
Yes,
and I think it was almost the. And yeah, I guess you got to, now, did that Fab Five, we all know what happened in the game where they. I
don't think they won one.
Yeah.
Did they?
I don't think they did, because the one time when they were called the Fab Five is they were. I was watching the game when it happened, when Weber called a timeout that he didn't have. Calls a timeout, doesn't have it, turns the ball over, they lose. And I think that might have been their only real opportunity to win the whole thing.
Because their only national championship was in 1989.
Yeah. So
that was pre-Fab Five, was it not?
I think so. I do believe so.
Yeah, that's a Glenn Rice team.
Yeah, there you go. So,
but they made Final Fours in 92, 93.
Yeah.
Though they were later vacated due to NCAA violations.
Oh, see, I'd forgotten about that. What does that say in what you're looking at? What those violations may have been?
I'm just looking at the AI overview.
Okay. And it's hard to compare teams, especially eras. I mean, we're talking about the Fab Five was early 90s, right? And now we're in the 2020s. And it's the old back in I do it with quarterbacks. I think Otto Graham's the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Now, he's not even my era. He's even further back. Plus, I just like saying Otto Graham, really more than anything. And I like being a gadfly, and I like being a contrarian, in case you haven't noticed. But this, I don't remember the individual. If you go to back-to-back Final Fours, the Fab Five club, that's a really good team. There's no doubt. It's probably Michigan's best ever, other than the one where they won the national championship. But, sometimes, as good as the Fab Five was, sometimes you just run into situations where you run into a team that's even better, or circumstances beyond your control, as Chrissy Hine and the Pretenders once sung. But this Michigan team, I don't know what their average margin of victory is, but
did the Gophers play them to like a 10-point game?
I think they did.
That's like 5 guys?
I think they did. They're Fab Five. Not as fab as the Fab Five from Michigan was, but still a Fab Five. Someone sent a text said Hurley butt his head with a referee after they made the miracle shot too. Did he butt his head with the referee?
I wouldn't say it was a headbutt, but he's
nuts.
Yes,
they're all nuts.
Like he was in the ref's face.
Yeah,
like almost like he was about to kiss him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it was a headbutt, but their heads might have touched. Their foreheads.
Well, and then he almost got his jacket torn off by one of the other coaches as they were jumping up and down and embracing. And then every time there's a timeout, Hurley's turned into a cheerleader. He's imploring the crowd to get on their feet and cheer. He's insane. All these basketball coaches seem like they're nuts. But, then the guy
on the season, Michigan's average margin of victory, 18.1 points. Wow. The last 3 games, it's been 23.
All due respect to Kenny the Jet, I think this is the best Michigan team of all time.
Oh my gosh. Above average.
Now, the thing about Illinois, is, and can you look up the coach's name? I know it. It's like I got a bad memory. I'm going to get ripped by the pro. You don't even know the name of the coach. I looked. I read it. I can't remember his name. He's been there forever. I can see his face right in front of me right now. I could headbutt him. I know him that well.
Brad Underwood?
Brad Underwood. He goes to those Eastern Blocs, European countries. He's got they're twin brothers, I think.
Got a pipeline?
Yeah, they're both like 7'1". And that's why you look at Illinois and just because of their size, I don't know how talented those guys are. They must be pretty good. They're in the Final Four. I think how did Illinois and Michigan do against each other this year? Now, again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Michigan's got to win, and so does Illinois before there's a Final Four match or a championship game matchup. A Dokay duo, as we like to say. But I guess what I'm saying is I've become an Illinois fan. I like having a team to root for. I'm not, I won't weep if Illinois gets eliminated. But I'd like to see Illinois take it to UConn. I'm not supposed to like
Michigan beat them 84-70.
Michigan's destined, aren't they? I mean, again, it's basketball. On any given Monday night, Sunday, well, this will be Saturday night. On any given Saturday night, any team can upset another club. And same goes for a Monday night if Michigan's able to advance. But they've got to be the betting favorite.
It's so weird. I know this isn't like breaking news at all, but I'm looking at the Michigan-Illinois box score. Mm-hmm. And on ESPN.com, they have a shot chart of the game.
Yeah.
Every shot in the entire game is either taking in the paint or outside the three-point line. There's nowhere else inside the three-point line was there a shot even being attempted.
Well, and that's where, over the years, because of the three-point shot, I think this is what people tell me and what I've been able to gather just from watching games and from what I read. The mid-range shot just is it's gone the way of the pterodactyl. It's a dino shot. Because it's inside the three-point line. I know it's harder to make them from outside the three-point line because you got 3 more feet, 4 more feet, whatever it is. But it's like the percentages just say if you can't slam dunk it underneath or bank it off the glass, you're better off shooting from out at that three-point line. Though, as we've heard, remember all the talk was Ant needs to
work on his mid-range.
To work on a mid-range. And I still think there's a place for the mid-range shot. It's still
I agree.
2 points.
Well, I would think it would be easier to get to the hoop if you had a mid-range jumper, right? Like if you get inside the three-point line and they know you've got to take it to the hoop every time, it's easier to defend. But if they think you could pull up and hit a mid-range shot and they have to defend it and respect it, that would leave you flexible to be able to do other things and score. I think it's important to be able to score from anywhere on the court.
I agree with you. This one says college basketball is not near as strong as it used to be. Kids used to stay 3 or 4 years. Now they stay 1. Not the best Michigan team. Sorry. Sorry, Mike. Not all kids are leaving early. Matter of fact, the vast majority stay all 4 years. Check it out. Go look. The only ones that leave early are the ones that are bound for the NBA. Now, teams may change teams with the transfer portal, but it's not like every kid's playing for a year and they're leaving. They're just not. They're not. It's just a fact. They can't. There's not that many. There's only 2 rounds in the draft, and there's only 60 people being drafted. So I don't believe it. I still think the teams are really strong.
We just don't, and it's been like this for a while, even pre-nil. Back when the Fab Five was playing, and you had the Duke teams. Every NCAA tournament, you would recognize a lot of these guys because hey, that's Christian Laettner and Grant Hill and Hurley. They had the great run last year. Now they're back at it again, and you get to know some of these players. Now, not only can they leave in the NBA, but they can leave for other schools. So you just don't get that consistent name brand recognition with a lot of these players.
That is correct.
So it seems like they're worse when really it's just because you just don't know the names as well as you did the previous decades.
I tend to agree. Let's see what we got here. Sophomore, junior on Michigan. Sophomore, freshman. Okay, you're right. No, here's a senior. Here's another senior. Here's a junior. Here's a junior. Here's a sophomore. So there certainly are a lot of freshmen, but there's also a lot of guys.
It sound like that team is pretty balanced.
Yeah. I think this is the best Michigan team ever. The results are the results. The numbers are the numbers. I know, I get it. You want to wax nostalgic about the good old days. I do it myself.
Well, the Fab Five didn't win a ship, so.
No, they didn't. And of course, this team hasn't yet either.
No.
But, yeah. It all remains to be seen. And then, you know what? I got hooked into, the Minnesota Boys State High School basketball tournament. I mean, you talk about a great basketball game between Apple Valley, the 7 seed, and Chaska, the 5 seed. It ended up being, I think, a 7 or 8 point margin, but it was a 2-3 point game for the entire. It was like 5-9 for most of the second half, and then Apple Valley cut into it, and it was anybody's game at the very end. And the kid's name, again, the kid for Apple Valley couldn't miss in the second half. He hit 3-pointer after 3-pointer after 3-pointer, but at the end, Chaska ended up winning the game. And, I talked about this. The head coach for Chaska, Nick Hayes, was Baby Brother Peter's AAU coach, going between Pete's 11th junior and senior year. And he hasn't even been with Chaska that long. I think he's been the head coach for like 3, maybe 4 years, and they won a state championship. And they started the season at 3-4. And then they never lost another game the rest of the season. They ended up with 4 losses. So from 3-4, they never lost another game. And it was
it's a heck of a run.
Yeah, it was a heck of a run. It was fun to watch. So March Madness, not only in the NCAA, but also in the high school basketball as well. You know what? I want to talk about maybe, I don't know, do you have Twins in 5-3-4?
It's what I was going to tease.
Okay, because I watched.
I can go elsewhere, though.
No, but we can talk about that, too. You know what we can do? We can mention it briefly in 5-3-4 and then expand on it later on during the show. I had to look it up. I thought you got 2 challenges a game, and that was it. As long as your challenges are correct,
successful,
you could just keep challenging. There were, I think, 10 challenges in yesterday's game, and I'll tell you what. There was an umpire. I alluded to the story with you on Friday. And I kind of rolled my eyes, shrugged my shoulder, and shook my head when he said, you're going to have a lot of umpires that are going to be really embarrassed here. And I thought, well, so what? And the guy that was doing the home plate, he got overturned I don't know, it was 4 or 5 different times in the game. And much to the chagrin of the Twins, it cost them. But we'll talk about that in other items as well. But you have a tease about the Twins? Or?
Yep, the Twins are already twinsing.